Remnant 2 is almost here, and with just a few weeks before launch, I think it's worth asking the question, will it be the next big game? My name is Codiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and let's get into it. First up, I want to remind everyone that Legacy Gaming is giving away 3 Ultimate Editions of Remnant 2. You get a few days of early access, some helpful items, and most importantly, access to 3 upcoming Remnant 2 DLCs. For all the details, head over to our website, legacygaming.gg/news. So I've been toying with this series for a while now. It's something I've wanted to do, but you guys know that Legacy Gaming really tries to pack as much info as we can into each video, and usually we limit our opinions. We're going to throw those rules out for this video, and probably the series, so get comfy, because it's about to get real. If you don't know much about Remnant 2, I recommend you go check out our Ultimate Preview video. It's a deep dive into almost everything about the game, including major systems, archetypes, and important changes the development team is making. We're not going to discuss the nuts and bolts in this video, but I do want to talk about Remnant 2 and what it brings to the table. First and foremost is a solid foundation. If you look at the comments on pretty much any one of our Remnant 2 videos, you'll see the words hidden gem or sleeper hit, and there's a reason for that. Remnant from the Ashes, the first game, never really reached its potential. Its concurrent player base on PC was around 50k, and while it does have a positive score, clocking in around 83% positive feedback, that's far from a perfect game. If you read through both positive and negative comments on Steam, you'll see a lot of the same kind of comments that the game is almost great, or has potential, but there are a few fatal flaws that hold it back. Now, to be honest, that's a home run for a lot of developers, and after a few DLCs and the introduction of the game on consoles, I think it's safe to say the first game was a success, but it's clear the developers wanted more, and why shouldn't they? By all accounts, Remnant 2 looks to expand on nearly every system, doubling down on the ones players had the most problems with, specifically the armor set bonus system, which has been completely revamped and tied to another system which frees up players to make more choices. Level design has also been expanded and in some cases revamped, and the team leans heavy into procedural generation to create more diverse layouts, which was a huge problem for the first game. They've also expanded the tools players have access to build out their character, so you've got build potential up the wazoo, and if you don't believe me, check out this video we released a little while back. Finally, they've almost completely done away with bosses that overwhelm players with ads, instead opting on boss mechanics to be the main focal point. By my count, all signs point to developers that are listening to their fans and the community and creating a game that's bigger and better by almost every standard, and that says something even before playing the game ourselves. To be a commercial success and reach that potential we talked about before, we can't discount the element of hype. As a marketing guy, I know how valuable this is when it comes to launching any product, but it's definitely the case when it comes to new video games. Truthfully, I don't think the hype has penetrated the way the team needs it to. We've seen a lot of comments on our videos to the tune of, "I had no idea this game was coming out," or "I loved the first game, but didn't know there was a sequel." That's not a great sign. If your existing fan base doesn't know a new game is coming, that means potential new players don't know either. 2 weeks ahead of launch, the game should be everywhere, and even if they don't want to spend tens of thousands of dollars on marketing, they should be using their existing channels to blast out all the things that make their game great. If you look across the gaming landscape right now, there's no other game like Remnant from the Ashes, and thus Remnant 2, and to bring in those new players, the team should be shouting it from the rooftop. Am I crazy, or has the Remnant 2 marketing just not hit on all cylinders? Seriously, let me know in the comments. I do still expect to see things ramp up before launch, but I definitely wouldn't call it a hype train, more like a hype moped. Luckily, I don't think this is a death knell for the game. Pre-launch hype is important, and it drives things like pre-orders and overall awareness, but a good game is just as capable of creating that buzz after the fact. That's the whole reason Remnant from the Ashes managed to resonate with so many fans after it launched, because across the board, it's a good game presenting something different, yet still familiar. I think that'll be the case this time around too. I don't know if you've looked at the July and August upcoming releases, but it's wide open, and Remnant 2 couldn't have picked a better time to launch if it tried. Hopefully the game is as great as we think it will be, and once players see Remnant 2 popping off on the charts, I trust a surge of new players will be close behind. It's hard to quantify value in a video game because it's subjective when it comes to entertainment. You might enjoy a deep, meaningful story, whereas I might enjoy the grind and want to sink 200 hours into a game. It varies from person to person, which makes replay value a hard nut to crack. In the case of Remnant 2, I think things largely boil down to a player-driven progression grind as a means of entertainment and engagement, and that definitely speaks to the game's intended audience, a more hardcore subset of players. Much like the first game, there will be different difficulty settings, and as you complete them, you'll open up the next opportunity to increase the difficulty, giving you access to a new set of gear, as well as challenging your skills even further. This might not matter to a fair number of you, but it is one major aspect of the gameplay loop within Remnant 2. The other side to that coin speaks to the gear collectors among us. There's a lot more the team offers up in the sequel, and with more gear slots and the introduction of archetype items to collect, I think it's safe to say that's a real reason to come back and keep playing for more. Unfortunately, this loop only lasts so long as the player remains interested in it, and for better or worse, Remnant 2 isn't a live service game, so once you reach the end of your enjoyment, you move on, because there's no dangling carrot to keep you playing further. That's not a bad thing, and in fact, I applaud the developers for not going that route, because God knows we don't need another battle pass out there. But that does remove an element of longevity that developers, and to a point, players, have come to expect in their games. Just like Remnant from the Ashes, the developers have plans to release standalone DLC for Remnant 2, and those expansions to the game will most likely introduce new worlds, archetypes, weapons, and loot. It's an opportunity to pick the game back up, play it for a dozen or so hours, and then move on to something else. It's a more traditional model, and I respect the hell out of that because it just goes to show that devs don't want to chase a trend just to squeeze out a few extra bucks from their game, and that's something I can honestly get behind. So I guess it all comes down to this. Is Remnant 2 the next big game? I think it is, given the current landscape. There's no doubt our entire team is excited about the game. It's one we've anxiously been waiting to check out for months now. But has our excitement penetrated the mainstream? No. And that's an issue for the game at the onset, but not necessarily long term. One thing the team hasn't done a great job explaining is the story, and using that as a way to capture the attention of players that want a compelling narrative in their video games. Again, the team should be shouting from the rooftops the things that make Remnant 2 special. Souls-like action with guns, multiple classes that give players access to awesome abilities, a new array of epic boss battles tailor-made to challenge solo or co-op players. It's those things that open the door for potential new players, and a strategy I think would be successful in this situation. Nonetheless, as I said before, once the game comes out, we're confident the gameplay alone will do all of the talking, and hopefully, just like with Remnant from the Ashes, players will realize this is a game worth paying attention to. If that's the case, then it's most likely the game will see a popularity surge, and given the barren July and August release schedule, I think it's very possible Remnant 2 could be the game of the summer. Alright my friends, that was a very different type of video than we usually put out on the channel, but like I said in the intro, we're trying something new here. We talked about a lot of vibes and hypotheticals in this video, so be honest, are you interested in more next big game videos like this in the future? It's fun to change things up every now and again, but only if it's content you all want to see, so let us know in the comment section down below. If you are ready and raring for Remnant 2, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up and consider subscribing. We'll be reviewing the game, dropping a ton of guides and builds right around launch, so don't miss a thing. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.